Now, Scott, here's something from me. With the Bakhmut or Arkiamas situation looking bleak in the surrounding areas, we heard that Zelensky is thinking about a confederation with Poland, which means that Poland would have, quote unquote, the right to come in and intervene to preserve what was looked at as historical Poland in the Lvov or Lviv area. Um, how do you see that playing out? Do you think that will happen? And if it happens, what would Russia's response be? And then what would NATO's response be?
Well, they're talking about it, so you can't discount it. Straight up, you can't discount it. Let's talk about NATO for a second. NATO Article 5 alliances, the Article 5 part of the charter says an attack against one is an attack against all. But one of the things that NATO says about expanding is that they don't extend invitations to nations that have ongoing territorial disputes. Why? Because if you, for instance, Georgia has Abkhazia and South Ossetia that have been taken over by Russian-backed rebels. And there's Russian peacekeeping forces in each place, and each side has built up their own military. So if NATO says, Georgia, come on in, and now Georgia joins NATO and then seeks to take advantage of that by engaging in a fight with these breakaway republics, NATO is automatically at war. And so that's why NATO said you can't do this until you resolve. Now, a corollary to that is Poland can't. I'll give you an example. Turkey. Turkey's a NATO member, but Turkey moved into Syria, ended up fighting the Syrian army, and for a brief while fought the Russian army. Was that an attack against one? Is it an attack against all? Does NATO get involved? No, because NATO wasn't part of the decision to go into Syria. NATO would have opposed that. So Turkey was on their own there. So if Poland makes a decision to erase the border, so to speak, and move into Western Ukraine, that is not going to be a NATO action. That's a unilateral Polish action. And it means that if Russia responds against Polish troops in Ukraine, not Poland itself, but in Ukraine, there's nothing NATO can do about it. And I think Poland knows this. Therefore, they're not going to get involved in something they know they can't win. Russia will not allow, at this point in time, Poland to, on its own volition, move into Western Ukraine and take it over. Now, here's the interesting thing. Some senior Russian people have recently talked and said and insinuated that, yeah, maybe the best thing to do is give Western Ukraine to the Poles. So a eventual peace settlement, especially one that involves denazification of Ukraine, might include ripping out Western Ukraine and giving it to the Poles and making the Nazis their problem, as opposed to this. It's far-fetched, but who knows? But that's where I think we stand on that. Belarus has made it clear that it won't tolerate Polish troops coming into Ukraine. They'll view that as an existential threat, and they'll fight. Russia has created a military and economic union with Belarus, so Russia would become involved. There's a big joint group of forces operating on Belarusian soil that could come down and they outman, outgun, outclass anything the Poles could put on the ground. So it would be very escalatory for Poland to do something like this with an outcome that in no way is guaranteed to be positive for Poland. So I don't think it's going to happen unless Russia wants it to happen.